It's been inspiring this week to hear about the progress that's being made on the SDGs. I don't know about you, but I also feel kind of overwhelmed, even in hearing about the progress, about how much we still have to do. I'm a technologist and an entrepreneur, and I'm very confident that technology by itself is not going to solve any of the SDGs. But I believe that technology, in cooperation with communities and governments and companies around the world, can make an enormous difference in the problems that we really care about. My company, X, is the moonshot factory for Alphabet. We are entrepreneurs, we're technologists, we're scientists, and we are working on moonshots that we hope can fix some of society's really huge problems. So we have a lot in common with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Let me tell you about a few of the projects which you may or may not know about. For example, we have energy kites, and we're working on energy kites because we're trying to address climate change. We're working on diabetic glucose. So we've solved a contact lens which allows people to measure their glucose in their eyes. And because there are 1.2 million car accidents every year around the world, we've invented self-driving cars. You guys seen a few of these things? I want to tell you about a new technology that you may not have heard of. This technology is called Loon, because it's that unusual, and we were worried that you would all think it was that crazy. It relies on balloons up in the stratosphere, and we've put them there to work on one of the world's biggest problems, which is access to the internet for everybody. So, I know how crazy it sounds, but bear with me. Sometimes the craziest ideas are the best ones. All right, right now, more than half the people in the world do not have access to the internet. That's a travesty. We can do better than that. Access to the internet is the single best way to give the poorest people in the world the tools to learn and earn and grow healthy communities. Access to the internet can increase crop yields by up to 50%. If you have access to the internet, you can do mobile banking, and that allows you to grow your business. 1 in 20 of the trillions of searches on Google every year is for health information. That's millions of people every single day who are reaching out to try to learn about health. But to really understand about how badly people need access to the internet, you have to go out into the world and watch what they actually do. When we went out into the world, and watched the people in Brazil try to get the internet out in the countryside, it turns out so many of them climb trees in order to get a signal on their cell phones that they've earned the nickname fireflies, because at night, all you can see are the flickering of the cell phones up in the trees. We can do better than that. We see farmers who climb very dangerously to the top of water towers, hoping to get a cell signal so that they can get weather information so they can do better for their crops. There are trucks that go around rural areas all over Latin America. You leave your phone with them. The truck drives many miles back into town, hoping to find a Wi-Fi hotspot so that your phone can pick up a few text messages and emails and then drives all the way back out to you in the fields. That's crazy how much we're putting carbon footprint on those first precious bytes for these people. We can do better. So Project Loon was invented as a more creative way to try to get internet access to the people in remote areas who need it the most. This is 4 billion people. So using a network of high-altitude balloons as cell towers in the sky, We deliver high-speed internet to communities below. So they're talking to each other, the balloons are talking to each other, and they're beaming internet to the ground. We've been flying and testing these balloons for 5 years now. We've flown more than 25 million kilometers already, so it's not like we just started. Our best balloon lasted 190 days in the air, and we expect to break that record soon. As I'm sure many of you know, earlier this year, Peru was hit by extreme flooding. When the flooding hits, when any disaster hits, it often wipes out communications at the time that communications goes from nice to have or important to have to literally the difference between life and death. Now, as it happened in this particular case, we were flying over Latin America at that time doing testing for Loon. So we reached out and said, can we help? And thanks to the amazing contributions of the Peruvian government and our partner Telefonica, we were able to move just recently, this spring, from this is so crazy but it might work, this is something we're proud of and we hope someday could change this huge problem with the world, to let's just turn it on. These people need this help right now. We turned it on, and in the first 6 weeks, tens of thousands of people around Peru who otherwise would have had no internet connection got internet as a normal service. Many of them didn't even know it was from a balloon. From us, 160 gigabytes of data, which is about 2 million emails sent and received, about 30 million text messages. And this has been profound for us because taking that step from maybe to definitely, we can do this, let's go bigger, let's help more people, that is so empowering for technologists to see your work out in the world and really helping. So, I want to leave you a little bit inspired. I want you to think about how can you help? How can you help to nurture and support nascent, brave, daring, great for the world technologies? How can you help them to find their highest and best use out in the world? And I want to tell you that I'm impatient, and I want you to be impatient too. The world has too many problems, and they're getting big too fast for us to wait and be patient to fix them. Let's be however impatient, however creative, however brave it takes in order to get to the breakthroughs that will take down these huge problems in the world. Thank you very much.